Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Wolf Pack. I just flew back in this morning, 5 hours ago from now. Took a a very, very long nap. And I wanted to tell you all about my weekend at Dice Tower West. I want to tell you about some games that I got played, my favorite games that I demoed and that I checked out over there, along with some other really fun highlights that we had as well. But God, I gotta get better at vlogging these because I tell myself I want to vlog better, and then I end up not getting much footage because I just like being in the moment and just seeing everyone and just being present, you know? But at the same time, I also want to get footage too so I can show everyone at home. All right, so Dice Tower West, I flew in on Friday morning. And as soon as I got to the Rio, to like the main gaming hall, because if you haven't been to Dice Tower West, it's at Rio. And I think there are two main sections. There's like the main gaming hall, and there's also like the open gaming, and then there are also individual rooms for you to game as well. So if you're ever interested in going to Dice Tower West or East, well, I haven't been to East, so I'll just speak for West. But if you haven't gone to Dice Tower West and you're looking for like your very first convention, this is a really good one to start at because it was awesome. And on top of that, if you want a convention all about gaming, then this is it. So it's a really good one to start off with if it's your first con, and it's also a really good one to start off with if you just want to go there and game. So the first main event that happened was I had a panel with Alex from Board Game Co. and Professor Meg, who both, by the way, are incredibly, incredibly amazing people. I'm not surprised. But then I also realized that after the panel, it was our first time actually of us meeting together. And so the fact that we just, for lack of a better term, vibed during this panel and just had a really good chemistry, and I think we just, had a really great fun panel overall. So the fact that we had that chemistry and the interaction for a panel beforehand, before even meeting each other, I think was just great. I felt like I knew them for so long because, when you watch all your favorite content creators, you just get to know their antics and just how they are, and you just feel like you know them. That's exactly how I felt when I watched Alex and Meg. So our topic was how to play more board games, and I felt like it delved into some really fun, interesting discussions. We talked about how it was from a content creator standpoint, where we had to get into more games and then bounce that in between, playing games for work and also playing games just to have fun and play. And then we also talked about how to manage time, and it was just a really fun, interesting discussion overall. We also had a fantastic audience who laughed way too much at my lame jokes. And then it was also really nice to get some insight on how Alex and Meg approaches, things like this, where it's a combination of work and play, and then just to see how they play games overall. If you haven't seen Alex's videos and Meg's videos, they go through a ton of games. So the fact that they're able to absorb all this information and then just get through all these games is just inspiring, and that's where I want to get to too. So anyways, Alex and Meg, thank you so much for having me there at the panel. It was so much fun to meet both of you. And we also hung out a little bit later too during the con, which I'll get to in a second. And then from there, right after that, I headed over to Bonz's meetup, the Banzcon. So it was so cool to see everyone in their Team Berry or Team Pepper shirts. I have some photos here to show you. Everyone took some group photos. We also played some games. There were two games I played. The first one, I totally forget the name, but I'm gonna put it right here. It was a very, very light game. It was like a 5-minute game. How this game works is one person has a character in their hand, and they're trying to have everyone else guess which character it is by saying oh, this character is like Red Riding Hood, or this character is like Cinderella, or this character is not like the Big Bad Wolf. So it was pretty interesting, but that was the first game I played. And then the second game I played, I also jumped in on Happy Salmon, which is my first time playing that one. That one's really fun. I feel like it's a lot of kinetic energy that you need to have for that game. For Happy Salmon, how it works is you have a deck of cards, and your goal is to get rid of the cards as fast as you can. And there's a group of 5. We also had, I think we ended up having 3 circles of people playing Happy Salmon. And it is chaotic, but it is a really fun, get up on your feet, run around type party game if you're looking for something like that. And the cards they're gonna tell you what to do. So one is fish bump, and you have to fist bump another person. And if you find someone that matches you with that card and with that action, then you get rid of your card. And the next one is gonna be something like switch, and then you switch places with the other person. So by now you can guess how crazy and wild it was. Well, that was a really, really fun meetup. It was really nice to meet everyone from her community as well, because I tune into her Twitch stream all the time. So to put everyone's names to faces was absolutely incredible, and we had a very, very big turnout for that. So that was really fun. Bonds, thanks for setting that all up. It was a freaking blast. And yeah, I think that was pretty much my Friday. These cons, honestly, if I don't take notes or if I don't look back on my Instagram stories, I do not remember what happened because they're just a blur. Oh, actually, okay. So after that, Friday night, we also had sushi. And well, now that now that's out in the open, I don't eat sushi, and I usually don't eat like any kind of raw things. I don't like seafood, but I obviously went because I just wanted to hang out with everybody. And the dinner that we had was hosted by Potions of Azureland, which is a game, incredible game. I'll talk more about it when we get into the games that I played later on in this video. But the publishers of a brand new game called Potions of Azureland hosted a sushi night for everyone. It was incredibly nice of them. And Chip Theory Games too was also there. They also helped chip in for dinner as well. So thank you so much to both of them for having us out that night. It was super, super fun. Something real quick I want to tell you. So I don't eat sushi, and obviously I'm not gonna be a brat about it and make a big deal about it when everyone loves sushi. Like, I hate being the Debbie Downer, so I'll just like suck it up, obviously. So what I did was I tried to sneak under the radar and like order things that weren't sushi, and no one noticed. Okay, literally no one noticed, which is obviously the best thing. And I got what was I eating? I got the gyoza. That's right. So I kept getting gyoza because it was like an endless menu. So I kept ordering gyoza on the side and kalbi. Kalbi is like a steak, like marinated steak. And I just kept ordering that, and no one noticed, which is obviously perfect until the server like called me out and in front of everybody too. And it was like, "You don't like sushi, huh?" And I was like, yes, I do. He's like, "No, I know right away because all you're doing is ordering kalbi and gyoza, and I see what you're eating." And freaking, he was really funny. Okay, so server's really super funny, and the fact that he called me out too, I think just made it 10 times funnier. But he was like, usually I can tell in like 5 minutes whether or not someone doesn't like sushi, and especially in like groups like that, there's always one. And I hate being that one, but I can't control that. Like this is who I am. I wish I could tell my taste buds like, "Hey, I love sushi," but I don't. Honestly, I feel like my face still hurts from laughing and smiling this entire weekend. So that was our Friday night. We had sushi, had a panel. It was great. And then Saturday, we started off, I demoed Elder Scrolls. That's coming out from Chip Theory Games. And oh my God, let me tell you now, that game is so good. I think that was my favorite game for sure from the weekend that I managed to demo. And it was so fun. So Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era, I demoed this with Bonds and with Andrew from Chip Theory Games. Andrew, if you're watching, thank you so much for taking a lot of time out of your schedule to spend time teaching me this game. And also 20 Strong too, also really great. But Elder Scrolls is coming to crowdfunding in a couple weeks, and this one is super riveting. I feel like the best way to put this is that it's a lighter campaign game. Lighter, not in the sense that the complexity is still there for Chip Theory Games, right? So the complexity is there, but lighter in a sense that it's more digestible. Maybe that's a better word, actually. It's more of a digestible campaign game because I think there are a total about 10 hours of campaign play. And how the game works is you start off with a character, you choose your race, this is probably one of my favorite parts about it. You choose a starting race. You can choose between the class that you're playing as like a warrior, a thief, a mage, which is the one I played as, Bonds played as a warrior. And then there are a couple of other ways that you can customize your characters. It's really insane how much customization goes into the first start of the game. And from there, you also have dice that are going to be used to slot into different skill trees. Now, I feel like a part of it is familiar if you have played Too Many Bones, but it's very different from Too Many Bones. How the game works is you start off with a race that gives you a starting trait and a set of stats, and then you pick a class that gives you another innate ability, and these other abilities act as security measures. So you can spend like tenacity, one of the resources in the game, in order to use one of these abilities in combat. And then you get a certain number of combat dice and magic dice and stat markers depending on how you built out your character. The skill tree here is definitely one of the most fun things to experiment with in this game. Now, this is a solo and co-op game where you're traveling across the world and you can stop by and train at cities or towns. You can buy items. You can visit other hubs in order to prepare for certain encounters. And in the chapter that you're playing, you'll be given a certain objective. So for us, in chapter 1, we needed to find out the reason behind some animal mutations. And then once you meet an encounter, there's a separate map that sets up, and here's where the coolest part of the game begins because it's all action from here. Different monsters and loot pop up, and how combat works is that you'll be moving across to your stamina marker. And to attack, you roll a set of dice depending on your skill level. I had these crazy dice like they were the destruction tree, so rolling one specific symbol insta-killed one enemy, but the trade-off is that the whole party will take damage for that. And then after you roll a set of dice, they then go into this bottom row, and each turn, that sword marker is going to tell you how many dice are refreshed. And last thing, you can have super explosive turns. Like for me, I can do my destruction magic and then switch to a one-handed form. There are actually a bunch of different forms that you can switch from. And then I can melee attack and damage multiple enemies at once. The trade-off is that all these dice go to the bottom pool, and each turn that sword marker is going to tell you how many dice are refreshed. There are also dungeon encounters that act as a really fun side quest for you to adventure into and collect epic relics, which are treasures to help you on your adventure. And lastly, lockpicking is super cool because you get to roll and allocate your dice onto a relic card. It's a Yahtzee style where you can roll and collect them and then re-roll, but you only get 3 chances before the relic breaks permanently and then you lose it. You can also give yourself fatigue in order to mitigate the dice rolls as well.
Come on, buds.
Don't worry, I got this. Ready, set, bet.
2?
I'll take
6.
You take a 1
one
and a
fatigue.
1.
For 5.
I'll take 1 fatigue. Change this to a 1.
There you go.
Nice.
Okay. I'll take another fatigue and change this one to a 6.
You can do that at the same time? Oh, nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dang, easy
All right.
money. Take all that fatigue.
We need a 1. Come on!
2? Was that 2?
It's a
Wait.
5.
Oh, it's a 5. I was like, wait, where's the dice?
Where's the dice?
One more, one more.
Come on, big money, big money.
Come on!
3?
I'll take 2 fatigue.
There you go. You did it. You did it.
I'm so tired now.
Easy.
You gotta move my heart.
I'm
There you
moving
go.
my heart. When
I
you
know.
gain fatigue, you may instead place 1 damage on this card. Then if there's at least 4 damage on this card, discard it.
So it can
Oh.
get tired for you instead.
Nice.
For all my bad rolls. That was
Like
fun. That was really fun.
Keep your eyes on this one, y'all. This is a game to definitely watch out for when it comes out in a couple weeks. So that was Elder Scrolls. Spent a lot of time with that one. Aside from that, also ran into Shay and his friends, and we also got to play a really quick Oink game. I think it was like 9 tiles or something. And there's also like a Pokemon version coming out. Shay, that was a blast playing with all you guys. It was a really fun, light game. It's definitely a game that I want. I think that's on my buy list now that I've played it over in Dice Tower West. And your goal is that everyone's going to hide their set of 9 tiles, and you want to make connecting roads. And there's also 3 different conditions when you make those connecting roads that you're trying to prioritize. And it's all about like aliens, and they're like police and dogs, and basically there are random conditions where like whoever has the most amount of police or whoever has the most amount of dogs in their city that is made correctly will win by having those set of 9 tiles. It's really, really fun. I would easily bring that one on like a travel game or just to introduce it to like families overall. But that's a really, really fun tile placement game. I usually don't like tile placement, but that was a really, really fun one, especially with the whole timer and trying to figure out who can build their city the fastest while also optimizing all the 3 conditions that they had on the board. So that was a really fun one. And then I also got to teach and play Aquatica multiple times with many different people. I first got to teach it to Bryce, and we had a blast playing Aquatica. He learned it so fast. I feel like every time I teach a game, people pick up on it so fast, which is really funny because it takes me forever to learn a game, but they learn so fast. So Bryce was really fun to play with. We played Aquatica twice. And then afterwards, I also played Aquatica later on with Bonds, Meeple Conrad, and Gator Dave, everyone from our Twitch community. Super fun. I got wrecked by 1 point. By 1 point from Meeple in Aquatica. And Meeple, if you're watching this, need a rematch of Aquatica, man. Oh, God, I was so close to that one. 1 point. 1 point kills me. But that was super fun playing Aquatica with all of them. Got to teach them all that. And I think that was pretty much the only games that I managed to get played. It was Aquatica. It was Elder Scrolls as a demo, and the Oink game, Happy Salmon. So those were like the few games that I got played, but it's great that I got to have any games played to begin with. Also, let me tell you about a couple more games and a couple other people that I met. I got to play Potions, or I got to experience a little quick overview of Potions of Azureland. And this one, the art is done by Andrew Bosley, who I also got to meet for the very first time in person. Such a cool guy. And obviously, you all know who Andrew Bosley is. Andrew Bosley, if you don't know, has done a bajillion games. Like, I guarantee you that you have seen a bunch of his games. Everdell is probably the most notable one that I know him from, at least. I think he's also done Tapestry and a bunch of other amazing games. And one of the other games, 2 of the games actually I'm going to talk about right now, were both illustrated by him as well. First one, Potions of Azureland. This one is so fun. This one is a really interesting one to keep your eyes on. I think it's coming to crowdfunding in the summer, but I'll go ahead and leave links to everyone that I talk about down below. Potions of Azureland, how it works is it's not a programming game, but you're going to prioritize which actions that you want to take in a little tableau or a little card holder of 5 different slots. And you get to put a number in to see if this is like the one that you're trying to bid for. I guess it's kind of like a bidding game because you're kind of bidding for the actions that you want to take first over the other players. And if you don't want to take that priority action, then the other way for you to generate income is by slotting it into the other side. And then there are a bunch of different actions that you can take, from buying different potions, selling out different potions to different people. It is going to be, I feel like this one's going to be a big hit when it drops in the summer, whenever that comes out. And it's going to be one that you definitely want to watch out for. So aside from that, I think the last game that I got to see was Trailblazers. I think that was the one. I don't know how I totally missed this campaign. I haven't even heard about it until I saw it at Dice Tower West. But this one looks absolutely incredible. Hiking theme. It has a theme like Parks, but it's totally different. And artwork, of course, again, also done by Andrew Bosley. I feel like this one has way more complexity than Parks. And it also has a bunch of locations that I've actually personally hiked to, which is even more fulfilling to see. So this one, you're hiking I think you're hiking on the John Muir Trail, and you're trying to collect different items in your backpack and trying to pretty much survive and deal with weather. And it's really, really interesting. I wish I got to spend more time with this one, but I'm looking for copies of it now. I think the Kickstarter is already over, so they should be fulfilling for that later down the line. So hopefully I can find myself a deluxe copy, you know what I mean? So those are all the games that I managed to see and play. If I missed any, I'm sorry, but those were some really, really incredible ones. And also, forgot to mention too, someone after the panel got to show me some really incredible stuff, or gifted me actually, this thing. The fact that you all know my favorite games and that you're making stuff for me, for my favorite game, is absolutely humbling. So this is from Jet Riker, Arena Creative. He made these stands, which is really cool because if you ever played Dwellings of Eldervale, you know that for the dungeon card trays, we're either passing it around or it's just like stuck on the side and we never get to really see it. And people kind of forget about it all the time, especially if they're new to Dwellings. And he also made me some of the mini expansions that Luke Laurie came out with, the Elemental Shards expansion. So here are some upgraded parts of the Dwellings and also some shards to go with the game. And yeah, that brings me to my last but not least point. It was so much fun to meet a ton of you there at Dice Tower West. It is so humbling to see so many people just want to take time to say hi. And that's honestly the best thing. I love meeting all of you. A lot of you, stuck around for the panel. Got to see many of you pretty much everywhere in the con, in the hallways, whether we, chatted for a little bit in the main gaming hall or just, caught some time on the side. Thank you all so much for just being there and saying hi. I absolutely love it. And I'm hoping to make Gen Con. I don't know yet. Gen Con is really, really expensive. So we'll see if I can make it to that one. That one is it's a pretty penny to get to, but I really loved Gen Con last year and I really do want to go this year as well. So I'm going to try. I will try my best to be there. But I think that's the only other con on my list for this year. And other than that, like I said, Dice Tower West, absolutely amazing. It was super awesome. Also got to meet Tom Vassell, who I've worked with in the beginning, and then we've chatted here and there, but it's super nice to finally meet him in person. Super nice guy. You all know who Tom Vassell is. Come on. Tom, super nice guy, obviously an inspiration to me and a ton of other people. Literally the pioneer for doing board game content creation. So it was really, really nice to meet him in person. Such an awesome guy. Also met some other people from the team as well, from Dice Tower. Saw Roy in the hallways too. He was, I think he brought Last Light to play. And I also got to see Chris. I might be in his vlog. I saw him vlogging right before my panel. So I might be in one of his vlogs. I'm looking forward to see me being lost and trying to figure out what I'm doing with my life, So I'm excited to see that on Chris's vlog. But on that, thank you all so much for tuning in on my little adventure to Dice Tower West. Such a great con. It grew so much this year. I feel like there are way more events, way more publishers for sure than last year, and a ton more gaming too. The main hall was filled practically every hour of the day, which is the best thing to see. All of these board gamers just playing games. And yeah, that was my little recap of the weekend. Excited to get back in routine again, making some more content, and I will see you all in the next one.